trust God's plan more than I trust my own. So now I don't assume something is wrong just because it's not happening the way I expect. Sometimes it's not going the way I planned because it's going the way it's supposed to. And that's where trust comes in. Not control, not certainty, trust. And I want to be honest about something. Trusting what's unfolding doesn't mean everything feels good. There are still moments where it hits me. I'll be driving and I'll just start crying. Not because I'm falling apart, but because I'm still grieving what I lost. And sometimes it's a song that comes on and it takes me right back to a moment where I felt loved, where I felt like I was part of something real. And for a second, I don't just remember it, I feel it again. And that's the part that hits, because sometimes I wish those weren't just memories. I wish they were moments I was still living. You can trust where you're going and still feel the weight of where you've been. You can be moving forward and still have moments where you wish you could go back to what you thought you had, back to what you believed was real. And for a second, it feels easier to want that than to keep walking into something you can't fully see yet. But when I really sit in it and I'm honest with myself, I know I'm going to live a more full life now because I didn't just go through it. I actually learned from it. And now I get to apply those lessons while I'm still building my life. I don't want my lessons to come too late anymore. So now I move differently. I take steps. I put myself in position and I stay open. If something works out, great. If it doesn't, I adjust. I don't collapse. I just keep moving. And that's a level of peace I didn't have before. Because when you're not attached to one outcome, you think clearer, you move better, you don't react, you respond. And that doesn't mean my mind is always quiet. It's not. There are still thoughts that try and pull me back. And if I'm being honest, they are not always light. Sometimes it's, why didn't it work when I gave everything? What did I miss? What could I have done differently? Why wasn't I enough in something I believed in? And those thoughts, they can be loud. They can take up space in your mind and try and pull you back into a version of you that you've already outgrown. But I've had to learn, just because a thought is loud doesn't mean it's true. Because those thoughts aren't coming from truth. They're coming from pain. They're coming from a version of me that was hurt, that was trying to make sense of something that didn't make sense. But I don't live there anymore. So when those thoughts show up, I don't follow them. I don't build a story around them. I don't let them define how I see myself. I catch them, I interrupt them, and I remind myself, I didn't lose something that was meant for me. I was redirected away from something that wasn't. And something else I had to learn is that it's not just the thoughts in your own mind that you're fighting. Sometimes it's the voices outside of you too, and not always from strangers. Sometimes it's from people who are supposed to be closest to you, people who know you, people who have seen your life up close, people you thought would protect you, speaking on you in ways that don't feel like love. And if I'm being honest, sometimes they say the exact same things you have already been battling in your own head. And that's what makes it harder, because now it's not just a thought. It's been echoed back to you, reinforced, and for a moment, it hit different. It feels more real because it's not just you thinking it anymore. It's someone else saying it. But I've had to learn that doesn't make it true. It just makes it louder. And loud doesn't equal truth, because people will project from where they are, not from who you are. And even people close to you can speak from their own pain, their own perspective, their own limitations. And if you're not careful, You'll start shrinking yourself to avoid hearing things that were never yours to carry in the first place. You will stop showing up. You will start second guessing yourself. You will question things you once felt confident in. Not because you changed, but because you let someone else's voice get louder than your own. And I refuse to live like that. Because if I'm already doing the work to manage what's inside of me, I'm not going to let someone outside of me undo that work. Not anymore. So now, when something comes at me like that, I don't absorb it in the same way. I don't internalize it. I don't turn it into truth. I see it for what it is, noise. And I treat it the same way I treat those thoughts in my own head. I catch it, I question it, and I choose not to carry it. Because not everyone's opinion deserves access to you. Not every voice deserves influence over you. And just because someone says something out loud doesn't mean it belongs to you. You don't have to pick it up. You don't have to believe it. And you definitely don't have to let it change how you show up in your own life. Because if you do, you're handing your power over to people who haven't earned it, even if they're close to you. And that was a hard lesson for me, but it made me more aware. It made me see things differently. So where I am now is different. Not because everything is perfect, not because the thoughts don't come up, not because life suddenly got easier, but because I see it differently. I don't need everything to make sense anymore to keep moving forward. I don't need every answer to take the next step. I don't need people to understand me, to believe in what I'm building. And I don't need validation to know who I am. Because I've learned peace doesn't come from controlling everything around you. It comes from trusting yourself in whatever comes next, and trusting that whatever didn't stay wasn't meant to go with you. So now I move with intention. I listen differently. I protect my peace, and I keep going, even when I don't have the full picture, because I trust that what's meant for me won't require me to question my worth to keep it. And I trust that what left made space for something that aligns better with who I am now. So if you're in a place where things feel uncertain, where your mind is loud, where other voices are trying to tell you who you are or what you're not, don't let that be the thing that stops you. Let it be the thing that refines you. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep showing up as the version of you that refuses to go back to who you used to be. And I'm not going back, not to what I thought it was, not to what I tried to hold together, not to a version of me that was willing to settle just to keep something. I've seen too much. I've learned too much. Forward is my only option now. But this is the part I had to learn the hard way. Just because something doesn't look right doesn't mean it isn't. Just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean it's working against you. Sometimes it's working for you in a way you just can't see yet. I used to think life had to happen a certain way, that if it didn't look how I pictured it, then something was wrong. But I've been forced in directions I didn't choose, directions I didn't understand at the time. And every time I stepped back later and really looked at it, it actually put me in a better position, not just different, better. One that makes more sense for my life, even though I couldn't see it in the moment. So now I don't question it. I trust it.